Is this the microphone? I think it is. Why has it got like such constant noise happening? Is it like hearable? There's chat. Hi chat. Got it. Hello. Where's the thing? Face cam? Whoa, short. Short king. Okay, one sec. I gotta up this chair maybe. Does it even go up? As tall as I get. Okay. It's scratchy but hearable. I don't think I'm... Is this it?
Is this one better? Did I find the correct one? There's like 500 audio inputs here. Like, what is happening? Okay, so that's this one. Why is there 500 of these? I'm gonna... Advanced audio properties. What's happening here? My goodness. I don't know what's going on. We're all balanced. We're balanced. That's good. We're good. Properties? Maybe? Properties? Yeah. I'm fascinated by what's happening here. Filters. Audio filters. What? Compressor? No. Noise gate? No, we always lose one of us if we use the noise bait. Noise bait. Noise gate. Oh my god, I'm so short. Leave Ursula to suffer. She can figure it out. She always sets it up for herself, and then I'm a tiny guy, and it doesn't work out for me, you know? I guess since AZ's here, like, I could start without her and leave her twisting in the wind. This is so bright. Whoa. Just messing with all her settings. She was sitting here getting all the settings together, and I said, no. Hunk, yeah? Yeah, I think we should just go for it. So if you are watching this in the past or the future, I don't know how you don't watch this in the past, actually. If you're watching this in the future, this is the critique stream where we critique patrons' writing and art. You can do it. I believe in you. And if you want even more done, you should do the mentoring tier, because I bop hard. Oh no, it's Ursula, don't tell. Okay. Ursula's gonna become a VTuber, she's decided. She'll become a VTuber because she's self-conscious. And isn't that just the best way to live? As a VTuber. Oh my god. Look at this bruise. That's Ursula, she hits me. It's crazy. Oh my god. Oh, sweaty too. Dang, Ursula, right? I just look at it and I'm like, ugh. It doesn't even hurt that bad. It just looks so bad. It's from my Eligard shot, my Lupron, my hormone yeeter, my boba straw ass needle that gets stabbed in my arm. All right, I clapped my hands and Fado went in the background. Right. I was gonna critique? Yeah, that's the word. I'm gonna critique AZ. Sorry, the screen went away, but it is back. Oh, it's gone. It's just flashing in and out of existence here. Piece was really rough this month. That's fair. You can't win them all, right? I liked it though. I liked most of it. I didn't have much to say. I've been traveling, but I'm home now. Well, congrats on getting home. Pet your dog and enjoy your own space. Yeah, so I liked the rewrite of the train scene. I'm not sure as far as like your question about like where it should end with either like Gil seeing the boy with good parents or with bad parents. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. It really depends, doesn't it? I would lean towards seeing them. Yeah, it's more rhetorical to me. Yeah, that's fair. I know. It's like a good question to ask, though. Yeah, I would lean towards seeing good parents. Sorry, I need to fidget. I was gonna fidget it with a credit card, and that's a bad idea. Well, actually, it's a coupon or something. I think it's spent. Anyways, I forgot to edit that out. That's fair. Yeah, I'd lean towards seeing good parents. I feel like it's like a good way to start pushing his character arc somewhere, like challenging his beliefs. Yeah, but he's still in the state where he isn't ready to like internalize good things as opposed to internalizing ableist things. So like I think it's good where it starts pushing him, but not so much. I think in contrast to the one scene with Des meeting frick. Is it Madame LaRoche? I think that's it. Yeah, I think it plants a seed, yeah. Whereas I think the part with Des finding the house, like, I think that comes too early because I think that's just very impactful to learn that he messed up, but they still forgive. I think that's cool. I think that's just very strong and very challenges him. Very emotional, strongly. And it just seems to come too early because it just feels like so much pressure and a good I like the resolution but I think it isn't earned yet. No, yeah, I really like this scene. I think it's a really strong scene. I think it just came too early. But it definitely could be moved somewhere else and work really well. Like eventually earn this scene. Yeah. Oh jeez. Oh. Can you go see Fatal? Well, don't call him down the stairs. You just. Yeah. Fatal went up the stairs and there was a loud noise. So I think he tripped. Is he okay? Okay. He's okay. I think I want to have him face failure here and leaves dejected, so Gil and his emotional ending for this chapter is more equal. Yeah, I was thinking to balance Emir, Dez, and Gil's struggles here before they meet. Yeah. I think if it ended where he was coming to the point where he's like, I'm just gonna give up, and then the lady comes out of the house. Like, if she just didn't come out of the house, I feel like it would work, because it would just be him giving up, which feels kind of where he's at. Yeah. I loved I loved Gil at the clinic. Okay, I'm just hearing voices, I guess. Is there voices? Are they in the song and I've never noticed? I think they're in the song, okay. I like that he's still not strong enough to do what he needs. He gives up. I'm gonna rate that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, I like the scene with Gil at the clinic. Just hearing all the praise for Cardiff, I was just like, ugh. Ugh. Reminds me of my psychiatrist. I think that's all I noted throughout. Cause yeah, there was the train scene. Dez continues the search. Oh yeah, I liked the one scene where he was talking to Ugh is the response I wanted. Yeah. It works, it works. Gil at the clinic. Oh, I liked Dez meeting people from his old life and the talk about Sarah. More ugh. Yeah, I like those. They were very strong. Yeah, I think that's all I got so far. I'd be interested in how, like, I think it's really close. I'm interested in, like, what kind of pushes Dez to going to the billboard if, like, the scene changes. Well, I guess it makes sense because he doesn't want to do crime. So, yeah, I think it all works out. I changed my mind. This chapter was about expanding their character backgrounds a bit. I think I'm pleased with it. Yeah, I think they're ready to meet. It's time for some meet cute. Let's go. Okay. That's all of that. If there's any questions, speak now or forever hold them. Or not, you could probably ask me later. I'm semi-easy to contact. Thanks, Bonesmeister. No problem. Holding questions forever sounds daunting. Welcome to social anxiety. Yeah, I can hold on a question for years. I can still think of like questions I wanted to ask in class but never did. The internet was such a lifesaver for me. I never had to talk to my teacher. Okay, so whoa, calm down, calm down. No peeking, okay? Don't peek the mic. Blah, 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 blah. Critique? Whoa, it worked. So this thing, I'm sorry. It's beautiful art is what I'm looking at. So I read this. Man, there's so many abusive parents. It wasn't abusive parents, but abusive people. This stream reading list, and I love it. Yeah. No, I love it. I love Orla's struggle. Orlean. What a mean lady. That's my commentary. No, I like how the two characters are being like driven apart from each other, but are both like, you know, one has the mean bird saying mean things, the other has the mean grandma. Is it grandma or mom? Grandma? Okay, yeah. Mean grandma. So mean. I'm sorry, these comments are great. No, I just thought it was a good scene. I liked it. Everything just keeps building and building. I can't wait for them to make up. Like, I'm not ready for it yet. Like, we're so close to some sort of explosion. But the tension's good. It's building real good. Just be friends again, guys. Don't let mean birds and mean grandmas pull you apart. That's life advice. I'm sorry. No, it's good. Ursula probably has way more to say, as usual. Okay, Ursula, you have more to say, as usual, right? Okay. Yeah? Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Hello. Hi, guys. Hi, friends. All right. Nat. Is Nat here? Oh, jeez. Got a little spring thrown at me. By a rude boy. Hold on, let me adjust. Here we go. Okay, Nat, my friend. I agree with Bones. I really like this chapter. The drama was real. Yeah, and that's good. It's just, I agree with everything Bones said. Here we go. But yeah, I can go more in depth with the art side as usual. Okay, so I love the first few pages where Alia is trying to get to Orla. It's really sweet. And there's clearly that, like Bones said, it's like they clearly care for each other and they've been driven apart. And it's just really, like, heartwarming seeing her trying to get to her friend and pushing through the crowd. And yeah, it's just really lovely. And it's set up really well visually, where you can really feel, like, the struggle of her trying to get through and, like, her desperation to, like, get to her friend. And, like, I even really like this, like, top panel here where the sides of the panel are a little tight to show, like, Orla freaking out. It's great. It's good ways to show the tension through your paneling. There was a couple little tweaks I would recommend for this scene where Alia is, like, listening in on the grandma and Orla. I found the last panel on this page here confusing. I thought that Alia had stepped into the room. because just the way the panels are set up, where we see her look through the door, then we see what she's seeing, where it's Orla facing the grandma. And then I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's like the direction or what, but it just feels like Elia has stepped into the room just from the way she's facing. Whereas like, I think she's like turned away to like listen to the conversation, but she's still outside. There's just something about it where it feels like she's stepped forward. I think it's because she's like in this, maybe it's because she's overlapping the panel above. I'm not sure, but there's something there that's like, yeah, just messing with the spatial stuff. And then the other thing was the there's something about this page that I'm looking at right now where there's something about the pacing of it that feels off to me. I'm not exactly sure what. Because I love this page of like the grandma like dressing down Orla. And then I just feel like I wish Orla looked like a little bit more kind of like isolated. I love the little close-up of like her composure kind of slipping and the little tear welling up in her eye. Like, that's great. I think it just needs to be like framed to be like bigger, because currently what takes up the majority of this page is Aaliyah listening and then turning away, which I guess makes sense because that is like, it's important. But I also think the bit with Orla is also important. I don't know, I think the weight is just different, like a little off with the size of the panels. I want Orla to feel more isolated, and I think I'd also just want more attention on this last panel of Aaliyah, where she's like, you can see her, it feels like she's trying to like not care, and then it's like, oh, but she cares. If I'm reading that correctly, with these last two panels, I think they just need to be slotted together a little bit better. Like, they just feel separated somehow, and I think it's because of Aaliyah being like transposed on top of the panel, where I think you could probably not combine the panels, but like fit them together as two panels a little bit better, if that makes sense. It's hard because I like how Aaliyah down here in the bottom kind of balances with Orla at the top, but they don't fit the scene there. I don't know, it doesn't mesh with the other panel above it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would play around with it a little bit and possibly like rebalance this panel like compositionally. The content of it is great, it's just, yeah, I think the composition weight is off. I loved the scene with the guard assistant lady being all intimidating and the reveal she does. I thought that was great. Yeah, and the rest totally makes sense, paneling wise. Yeah, I love how tall and intimidating she is through this. Because I know, like, I can't remember her name, but the character with the horn, the reporter, like, I know she's, like, a taller character, so, like, it's scary how intimidating this lady is, where she looks, like, taller and scarier. But yeah. Awesome. So, I think that's it, Nat. I know you're not here, so let me know if you have questions or want me to clarify stuff on the Discord, and I'm happy to. Okay, so next we have Ink, who I see is here, and we have Pigment. Is Pigment in the building? Hello, paging Pigment? We could start with ink, because I see you here, my friend. And then we could do pigments last. Alright, ink. Let me find... Woo! Let me find your questions. Right, this first one is fan art of Kafka from Star Rail. And you're looking for general critique, and then the second one is a cover. Okay. So, first off for this one, the colors are great. It's very cohesive color-wise. I love how the character stands out with like using bright whites and like really vibrant pinks. And then the surrounding colors, you're using like all these purples where they're still kind of like in the vein of like the pinky purple spectrum, but they're a lot darker and the focus is all on the main character, which is awesome. It's also very like energetic. There's lots of dynamic like action energy going off where like people are being like shot in the face and like falling backwards, and you know her attacks are like blowing them away, and I like all the little laser beam lines and stuff. Yeah, it's just very like it's all in this like expanding circle around her. It's great. But yeah, and the focus all goes back to her in the middle, which is awesome. Very good composition work. And it's a cool use of the landscape orientation of the canvas as well, where like it gives lots of room for like her to like do this like pose where she's reaching out her arms and we see the guns going off, where like they're not distracting. It's not like the guns are firing and I'm being led like off the page. It still all comes back to her. Which is what you want in a composition. You want all the elements to like lead you back to the focal point, right? So great job there. Contrast is great. Like I said, the main character really stands out against like this darker background. The color's really balanced. I think pose-wise, the character, Kafka, could be a bit more dynamic. I think, like, the pose that you have is, like, a really good start, but I think it could be pushed more. So, for example, like, you could add... I really like this, like, the right leg here. Like, it feels planted really nicely. It's a good... There's, like, a kind of a gentle curve to it, which helps with, like, the dynamicness. But you can still tell she's, like, twirling on her leg. But I think you could kind of, like, push the curve more by maybe, like, having her bend more at the waist. It feels very... I don't know. Her pose just feels like a little bit stiff to me. And I think like kind of pushing the intent is she's spinning. It's a redraw of a move she does in the game, more or less. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it just, there's something about it. Where I think like I'd like to see a bit more of like a twist in her body as well. Just to kind of show the momentum of her spinning. I mean, I don't know how it looks in the game. They might do it kind of stiffly, but like, I would recommend kind of like pushing the twist. So you could maybe have like her right arm kind of like pushed to the back more and have the left arm pulled forward more. So you'd have to use some foreshortening and show kind of more twisting in her torso. And another thing that could help with keeping it dynamic is like furthering the kind of like angle of the arms. So like her right arm here could like go up farther. The left could go lean down more. And you could kind of use this leg that's like out in the spin to kind of complement that curve, to have it like, you know, if the right arm is tilting up, you could do like a diagonal line and have this leg like pulled up a bit more, just to kind of like really complement the curve, really like exaggerate the twist, just to like really bring that movement into the still image. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, color, composition, lighting, like all super, super great. Love to see it. Yeah, I think you did a really great job with bringing the focus like up to her face, where that's like where the biggest, the kind of brightest highlights are, and everything kind of leads back to that. It's just really nice composition work. Did you have any questions? Was there anything you were wondering about with this one? I was thinking a lot on this. Something different than usual. Nice. Well, it really paid off. It looks fantastic. Yeah, there's lots of like, that covers that one. Awesome. Okay. Alrighty, so I'll do the cover. So you had some more comments on that one. So what genre does it appear to be? Does it give a certain mood? How's the coloring and placement of items? And the title may or may not change. Okay. So as for genre, okay, I'll go off just the cover. I do feel like I know a bit more because I've seen like the character designs and talked to you a bit about it. But if I just look at the cover, it feels like a fantasy story. It has like, okay, I don't exactly know what these vibes are, but I get like Final Fantasy JRPG vibes, if that makes sense, for like the vibe of the fantasy feel, where like there's something about, I guess, like the kind of geometricness and jaggedness to like this background element behind him, this like, it looks like a setting behind him, and just from like the kind of geometric rectangles and stuff on the clothes, it feels like there's some kind of like technological part to it. I was playing Xenoblade today. I wouldn't say that's super far up. Yeah, exactly. That kind of like, because they'll have like fantasy worlds, but it has like a bit of like a technological advancement side to it. It's not like straight medieval fantasy kind of thing. Yeah. But anyway, so that's kind of the vibe, but it feels very much like a story about, it feels like honestly, I'm getting like environmentalism vibes. Like it feels like this character like cares about nature. Like he's holding a little wooden statue of like a creature. There's like this big tree behind him. There's like this grayness to everything around it. It feels like there's like nature, it's being corrupted, and it needs to be fixed. Like that's the vibe I get just from the cover. Fancy comic cover over there? Hell yes. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so that's the vibes I get. Okay, what were the other questions? Coloring and placement. Okay, so I will say, color-wise, I think there needs to be some contrast work done. It has like a tone to it. So like I do get this like very kind of somber, serious tone because everything's very desaturated. Clearly the character's like expression is very like somber and sorrowful. And just because everything's kind of like gray, it feels very serious. But I think even if that's the tone that you want, I think the contrast needs to be upped. It's very washed out. And I can see like there's a little bit done where the character in the foreground and the title, like they're more vibrant. They're brighter colors than the background. The background is very desaturated, but they're still very close in value. And I think you need to... Honestly, I think the background could be darkened quite a bit. You could... Again, there's always two ways to do it. You can either darken the background and lighten the foreground. So the foreground would be your character and your title. Or you could go the opposite. You can darken your foreground and your title and make the background very light. But right now they're very like same tone, same value. Like it, yeah, totally. Because you can have something that, yeah, the overall tone is like more dark and somber, but there's still cute moments in it. Totally. Yeah, because stories should be like multifaceted, right? Especially longer form ones. But yeah, anyways, the contrast I think really needs to be pushed. I think your composition, you have something strong here. It's very balanced. Like everything is very focused in the middle of the canvas, which can work. Like you've got this, there, I'm not exactly sure if this is the intention, but it feels like with the way that, oh my gosh, I can't remember the character's name. I know he has one. I want to say like, no, I don't remember. I'm not gonna guess. But anyways, your main character here, with the way he is placed, Abo, that's it. I wanted to say Arthur, but I was like, it's not Arthur. Abo, okay. So with where Abo is placed, there's like similarities between him and, like, it looks like I said it was like a place. It looks like a city, but it also looks like it's shaped like a dragon. Anyways, there's like parallels and echoes between like his antlers. There's like horns on this thing in the back, the statue / city, maybe a creature. You know, and his head is placed in the same place, the body is placed in the same place. Like there's clearly like a parallel being made where he's like connected to this somehow. So like it makes sense, like it's telling a story that way, and I think the composition works that way because you're creating that like really focused parallel with the overlap. So I think you can keep that. I don't think you need to like change that compositionally, but I think there needs to be more elements around it. And I wouldn't say like put in more characters or more like important articles or whatever, important objects. I think you just need more happening to like bring focus to the center here. So like ideally you want, when your reader's looking at this cover, you want them to read the title and then look at Abo in the middle here. So I would use, whether it's like it could be atmospheric effects like clouds or shadow or vignetting, or it could be, I don't know, more trees or like clouds or whatever works for your setting and stuff, right? Yeah, and so, okay, so it's in a chasm, totally. So you could put like mist, you could put atmosphere, you could draw more of like the chasm walls around it, kind of like dropping away into like an abyss or something, I don't know. Whatever works for your setting, you could totally put that in. And yeah, and kind of draw all the elements in toward the center so that we're looking at Abo and the title and the structure. And like I said, you can change it however you want, but contrast-wise, I would make the surrounding elements really dark and keep like your foreground elements really bright and light, to make them stand out. And then for your title, so whatever like title you end up going with, if you're gonna use 2 words like this, I I like what you're doing where you have them kind of like offset. It does create some interesting like dynamicness where they're diagonal, it's not stacked. And it does help because the rest of the composition is very like down the middle stacked. So having this little kind of like offset where it goes diagonal, I think that works. I would recommend tightening your leading. I always mix up kerning and leading. Tighten up the line height between the words. They're very spread apart. It makes them feel very separate, so I'd bring them closer together. Like... Yeah, I would probably cut like about half of the space between them. You may want to tighten it from there depending on how it looks, but yeah, really cut down on this space here. And I would kind of bring them together. Like instead of moving regret up to fountain, I would bring them both like kind of toward the center of each other. And you can mess around with the placement, because I do like with this space here, you see some of these nice details on the tree. So you may want to like mess around with the placement so you can still see the tree behind the text without like stuffing your text all the way up to the top. It may even be helpful to like make the image smaller and bring it down a little bit so you have like a nice amount of space up top for your title, or you can find ways to like overlap them. Sometimes you can bring like elements in the image and kind of overlap them with the text. It just depends on what kind of vibe you're going for. But what I want you to keep is I like the amount of padding you have around your title. So like don't move it up any further than it is. Keep it kind of centrally to where you have it. Like if you drew a rectangle around where your text is, like keep it in there. Don't move it out. You can maybe move it down, but don't move it out. I like how much padding you have around the edges. And I would also try and find ways to kind of bring... It might help once you mess around with the background and stuff, but like bring in some of this purple that's on Abo's clothes, like up into the title somehow. Right now it's very like... You do have like echoes with the teal on Abo as well as in the text, but like find some way to like bring them together. Like it's an element of your composition like that you want as much attention as your character here, so like mix them together, make them feel cohesive. Yeah, that's it. That's my rant. Awesome. Okay, so do you have any questions on that? I did just rant about font for a hot minute. Yeah. Pardon me. My apologies. Oh, another little thing I'd recommend for your tag here, your title tag. This feels like just adding it into like a work in progress. I would recommend picking a nice font like you have for your title and kind of putting it here over like Abo's stomach or something. Just bringing it in, making it feel more part of the composition instead of just like a signature. For a cover, like, you know, you want your tag. Yeah, I figured. It looked very like sketched in, so. But yeah. Play around with it, see what you like. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting. Cool. Exciting. Okay, so last we have Pigment. Pigment, are you around? If you aren't, thanks a lot, no problem. If you aren't around, you can ask me questions when you see this on the Discord. Happy to answer. All right, so... Right, so these are sketches for chapter 2, and you're looking for some general feedback. And you wanted some focus on the fight scene that is in this, which I'm happy to cover. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so, I love the interaction between, Nyx and... Oh my god, I want to say her name is Cynthia. I don't think it is, though. The names. I'm so bad with them. But the love interest. I liked the interaction between them is super, super cute. And visually, I really enjoyed the pacing of it. It's a nice, like, slow scene where we just kind of, like, get to know the characters. There's lots of places where we see the setting, where they're in the tea shop kind of thing. Or, is it a tea shop? Flower shop? The shop where she works. Yeah. But anyways, they're super cute. Really like the pacing of it. The stuff with Grant, the transphobic jerk face, I also enjoyed. It was a good scene with good tension. And I really liked the bit where at the end where she's like, oh my god, thank god he's gone. Yeah, I thought that was fun. I would say, though, pacing-wise, I like this bit where Nyx is, like, checking out Grant's, like, vibes and it's, like, conclusion failed. I'm not sure if it needs, like, a full page to show it. I might, if I were you, like, fit it into the page above where Nyx is, like, checking him out. Just because, like, it's a funny joke. Like, I like it. I just don't know if it needs a full page for it, unless it, like, really comes up later that this guy is, like, a big villain in the story. Lydia, not Cynthia. I don't know where I got Cynthia. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah. So that's one thing. But otherwise, I love the interaction. It's so fun. Good character stuff. I'd also just recommend being mindful that this panel in particular, where Grant is leaving, it's very cut off by the other panels. I'd recommend kind of like making Grant more central as he's leaving, kind of central to like this center of the panel area. And yeah, I love where she's like leaning to like make sure he's gone. I thought that was fun. Yeah, but anyways, love that opening. I also like this where we see it's like an establishing shot that's like split. I'm assuming it's to show like a time change where it shows like maybe it's like the day and then the second half of the panel it shows it's night. I'm assuming that's what it is. I hope it is because it's really cool if you do that. Yeah, and then we go to Nyx talking to Lydia's brother. I also found with this scene, while I like it, again, really great character interaction and kind of like building things up, I found it was a little too spaced out. Like, I like how the brother character has this like little awkward ramble that he does. Not that what he's talking about is awkward, but he's like an awkward guy. Where I like how he has lots of like little speech bubbles. Just to show he's like kind of stuttering over his words. That's really fun. And I'd like to see it kind of just like compressed a bit more spatially with panels. So like, for example, like there's a lot of information being passed in this conversation where they discuss like him being Lydia's brother and then they talk about being trans, where like I think I think it just doesn't need to be as many pages as it is. I think it's spaced out a little too much where it kind of slows the pacing, where like it's a very back and forth conversation where I think it could be compressed more. Whether that's like putting more panels on one page or maybe compressing things into one panel here and there. Yeah, it just feels too stretched out, and I think it kind of hurts your pacing. Especially with the way the brother talks, where like, for example, like where he stutters here and he's like, oh, well, like that feels like it could be smaller. Like it doesn't need its own big panel down here at the bottom. Like it could be combined with this, like with the next panel, honestly. Or like not combined, but like these two panels could be side by side, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I would compress that if you could, to help with pacing. But character stuff is like freaking awesome. And then for the fight scene, I like the setup where we're seeing the people doing the demonstration. I really like the use of like the lines and shapes. It's very dynamic. It really shows things off, and I like the reveal at the end. Not reveal, but you know, the kind of end to their demonstration. That's like really well set up and paneled. The only thing that stood out to me with the fight, so I really enjoyed how it starts. Like, it's very dynamic where the characters are placed. It's very like, you've got kind of good like back and forth adversarialness. Like, I love this first panel where it's like the punches are breaking out and like you can see people dodging and stuff. And I like where, is it Zalia? This lady? Who, I like how she's like off to the side. There's like a curve to her, and then the other character she's fighting is like curved the other way, if that makes sense. Like, it just creates like a good kind of like an S shape through the panels, and it just creates like good adversarial conflict stuff shape-wise. It's just good. I think for the I like, you can, I think it's Nyx here who's fighting another person. Yeah. I think this last panel with Zalia like landing the punch feels a bit stiff. The one with Nyx feels fine. There's lots of dynamicness to it, but I think it's just it's got a very flat camera angle, and it's very pulled off far away. I think you could do a close-up of Zalia doing the punch, and it would get the same kind of message across, where she's like, ugh, I'm done. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this panel just feels flat. And then I enjoyed the bit where she's like picking people up. That part's great. Love the bit where she's flying. It's very dynamic. The one thing I would say, so this page here, where the, is it an owl? Bird character appears and starts fighting her. I love the posing on this bird. Like, the way you have the wings. For one, it looks just like very structurally good for the bird. But it also, like, it's so dynamic. It has so much motion in it. And I'd like to see that mirrored in Zalia. Fending off the bird. So, like, here, you have the bird coming in from the left. I'd love to see Zalia, like, her pose is just very, like, straight. And I understand she's, like, carrying someone, so, like, her weight would be very pulled down. But, like, more reaction than just her throwing up her arm. Like, push her to the side and, like, carve her a little bit so that there's more kind of, like, reaction to this character coming in from the side, if that makes sense. And then same here. It's very straight on for Zalia, and then the bird is like so dynamic, and I just love to see more kind of like conflict and reflection of the movement. Like, you could have Zalia like flying to the side, and her wings could be like flying out towards the bird, and the person she's carrying could be like swoosh to the side because they're being pulled along. I think there just could be so much like more movement brought in because like this bird is such a great element. And then I really enjoy the transformation bit from the bird to the person. You always do like the like when they transform between their two forms. It's always really cool how you do it. So I'm excited to see that like fully fleshed out. Yeah, and then the characters face off, and that's cool. Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful and not just rambly. And obviously, Pigment, if you have questions, please let me know, and I will happily answer. So that's it. Short stream. I think folks were busy. It being the end of August and school season starting up and all that. Oh, hi, Alias. How are you? But yeah, we're done the critiques for today. Ooh wah. Ooh wah ooh woo.
Yeah, that means you finished the stream. You don't just say ooh wah ooh woo, ooh wah ooh woo.
Bones, let me just say ooh wah ooh woo forever.
Just say, okay, bye, and end the stream.
Okay, Bones is telling me to end stream. Goodbye, folks. Love you all.